There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
Intelligence representative at a high level from the US government is saying publicly, we are not alone.
Greetings, beautiful people, marvelous citizens of the planet Earth. Welcome to the Lucid Lens. The so-called drones which are spreading across the world are nothing new. Reports of mysterious drones go back to 2019 in Colorado and surrounding areas. They were reported last year near military bases in the US such as Langley, where F-22s had to be relocated. Friday, they were over Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which had to close its airspace. Last month, they were over the Royal Air Force bases in the UK, Lakenheath, Feltwell, and Mildenhall. But it was last month in New Jersey where these sightings were reported over not only critical infrastructure and military installations, but residential areas. And they are now spreading across the United States. And according to investigative journalist and News Nation correspondent Ross Colhart, they are now coming in from around the world. Reports, that is. The elected officials and the media aren't buying the federal response and are becoming bold in their questioning. Take a listen to a reporter grilling Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Sir, as the author of the UAP amendment in the 2024 National Defense Authorization Act, you, among anybody, should be calling these what they are. We don't know they're drones, correct? They are UAPs. Why? Why aren't they being called UAPs?
Because we don't know if there are UAPs. We don't know what they are. That's what we're trying to find out.
Identified, of course.
Nobody knows what they are. We have to find out.
Senator,
yes.
Are these U.S. military drones?
We don't believe we do not believe they are U.S. military drones, or the military would have told us that.
Why haven't precautions been taken sooner? Why now? Why haven't precautions
Well, all of a sudden, they're in the skies all over the place, and so we got to find answers, and then the legislation will provide much more authority as to where and when drones can fly. Right now, there is no authority to that because there are so many hobbyists and everybody else who flies drones. So you got to figure out how to do it.
Senator,
have you spoken with top government leaders about the possibilities involved with non-human intelligence?
Look, we have spoken with top government leaders about finding the answers to what these are. We don't know what they are. No more, sir. Let other people. Okay?
For those not aware, non-human intelligence, or NHI, is the new government nomenclature for aliens, extraterrestrials, and UAP are the new UFOs. The senator acknowledged, but did not elaborate, only stating we don't know what these are. Well, unidentified certainly covers that. But it seems that even Chuck Schumer, who proposed the UAP Disclosure Act, is hesitant to push the matter to the forefront now that the entire world is starting to pay attention. If you recall last year, David Grusch gave an interview to Walter Kirn with the publication Country Highway. I often see this overlooked. Kirn had this to say on a segment on Blaze TV with James Poulos.
There's a promise that we'll get to know more. I mean, there always is with UFOs. We are always a year away from the big reveal. But he assured me that that reveal is kind of got a schedule now, and in the next year will be accelerated in a way that the whole world will find astonishing.
Grusch said the reveal is coming. Things would accelerate in a way the whole world would find astonishing. I trust David Grusch, and it seems he knew this would come to fruition. But it looks like even Congress has been caught with their pants down. I don't believe they were prepared for a UFO event of this magnitude. Even Schumer, who is a Gang of 8 member, as a Senate Majority Leader, seems to be caught off guard. As you heard in the same clip, Senate Majority Leader, along with the other top senators, proposed the UAP Disclosure Act, which would force the federal government to provide all the information it knows about UFOs going back to 1945. This is because those on the Intel Committee have for the past few years had whistleblowers providing evidence, documentation, and imagery, proof that parts of the DoD and other agencies have been keeping not only the American people, but Congress and even presidents in the dark about this truth. The act was partially passed last year with all military branches and government agencies ordered to turn over all UFO records to the National Archives. However, the deadline was extended until next year. Suspiciously, eminent domain and presidentially appointed panel to release this information through a controlled disclosure campaign was also gutted from the bill. Nothing to see here, but you can't see that for yourselves. I wonder if more information would have been made public at this point to better prepare the population who hasn't been paying attention, done any of their own research, or begun to take this seriously. One of my favorite personalities in the UFO space is political activist and executive director of the Paradigm Research Group, Stephen Bassett. He says the truth embargo is crumbling, as the stigma to even dare talk about this subject publicly is fading away. And I agree to an extent. Even though Chuck Schumer is holding his cards close to his chest, we are seeing this now with the rising mainstream coverage and politicians openly discussing the subject without ridicule. Now, while most of the population and even our elected officials still don't entirely believe this reality, the possibility can't be denied any longer, as plausible explanations for what everyone is witnessing are few and far between, as no foreign actor or U.S. agency or military branch seem to be responsible. Earlier, President-elect Trump weighed in with a very curious statement.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster. Want to know the truth? They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
He insists the government knows what's happening. The military knows, and the president knows. He doesn't imagine it's the enemy, as we'd blast it out of the skies. Something strange is going on indeed. When asked if he had an intelligence briefing, he quickly said, "I don't want to comment." Now, I'm going to take him at his word here. He probably has had an intel briefing if he says he doesn't want to comment, which means he does have reason for his earlier comments, stating it's not a foreign nation or our own assets. Options for what this is are quickly being removed from the board. Michael Melhem, the mayor of Belleville, New Jersey, spoke with CNN and lambasted the federal government for their response, stating it's insulting to insinuate that we are misidentifying what we are seeing.
So, a statement put out by federal investigators says they haven't corroborated any of the sightings with electronic detection, and they actually believe that many of the reported sightings are manned aircraft that are operating lawfully. Do you think that some of these reports have simply misidentified or mischaracterized drones? And you know, specifically in that video, what is it that the drone operator said, no, this is the behavior that tells me this is a drone?
Certainly. I mean, now that you have almost widespread hysteria because we have a lack of transparency going on here, everybody's looking up in New Jersey. So clearly there's going to be some misidentification going on. But I could tell you from my own visuals, things that I've seen out my bedroom window and things I've seen over the edge of my balcony, we are absolutely seeing drones. We are not seeing small planes. And frankly, it's been insulting to the residents of New Jersey to be told that they're just seeing things or they're all misidentifying. We're not misidentifying. There are objects that are flying within hundreds of feet above our homes. That's not good. They're just above the sight line, just above the tree line. We know for a fact that these things are not operating the way airplanes do. Airplanes tend to glide and go from point A to point B in a direct line. These things are going up and down in elevation. They're hovering. They're moving erratically. These things are not manned aircraft. That's insulting to be told that. There's a lot of frustration. On Wednesday, 200 mayors were gathered for a security briefing that was unprecedented in the state of New Jersey. We left that meeting knowing next to nothing. What we're asking for is transparency. At this point, I'm not necessarily concerned with who the drones belong to. I can make that assumption. I'm more concerned with why they're out there. That's really the answer. I think having more transparency from the administration, not being told that we're seeing things, not being told there's nothing to see here, I think more transparency would actually stop fueling the conspiracy theories that are spreading like wildfire on social media. So
you're saying you think you know who owns the drones?
Yeah, I'm saying that I'm more concerned with why they're there. I mean, you have to understand something. We were told that they're hovering over critical infrastructure. We're also being told there's no credible threat. We're
So
also
you
being
think
told
it's a good actor.
they don't want to take them
You
out of the
don't
air.
think it's a foreign actor. Do
I do
you
not.
have reason? Do you have reason to believe that it's actually then? I mean, I'm just trying to read between the lines of what you're saying, that maybe this is U.S. government or some sort of U.S. asset, but they're not disclosing the objective.
I believe that. The fact they're telling us no credible threat, the fact they're saying they will not shoot them down, the fact they're saying they will not put a temporary ban in place, it's pointing to something. And that's not little green men, and it's probably not a foreign enemy. More than likely, we do believe that these are probably our assets that are actually looking out for a potential threat. That's what we want to know.
The mayor's words sound awfully similar to the tens of thousands of people who over the last 80 years said they saw something in the skies nobody else would believe. And just like over the last 80 years, the federal government is continuing to deny and ridicule witnesses. Drones are the new swamp gas with a sprinkling of misidentification on top to muddy the water. Only this time, too much of the public is aware. Too many are paying attention. Too fast does information travel and get shared around the world. No longer are people buying the bullshit being shoveled. Even though the mayor says he doesn't believe it's little green men, he isn't going to stop pushing for answers. The mainstream media, while dying its slow death, is finally asking questions to the White House, the Pentagon, and to our elected officials. The question is, how much further will this situation escalate before some actual answers are given? We are currently on a trajectory where by Christmas, every state in the US will be reporting sightings. This could be the most widespread UFO flap in history. They've even begun here in Georgia. My wife captured this while we were in the car on our way to dinner Friday night. I initially thought it was Venus, so I stopped the car and pulled out my star map app, but then realized it was actually moving. Flight radar didn't show anything either. If you're asking why it's only 2 seconds long, well, a neighbor pulled up behind us and I had to move. Sue me. I've got nothing to lose. Ask the government what it is, but this isn't the first orb I've seen. I wonder what the federal government will do if these sightings not only continue to spread, but become more anomalous, and the majority of sightings are of orbs rather than drones, or maybe something even spicier. Like this clip posted by @Protest Roots on X, a video taken by Daniel Brubaker in Hamilton Lake, New Jersey. Corroborate that one, Kirby. That's it for me today. Keep your eyes up, be good to yourselves and each other, and I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.